After a long drive north past Salmon City in Idaho, finally in at the ranger station. And then drive on down to the campground at Cache Bar, where we're going to pit in on the Salmon River. Cache Bar is a favorite place to put in for the main salmon or to take out for the Middle Fork, which is just upstream. This beach on the main salmon, south of the confluence. We start the bus engine, which has a tricky converter in it, which runs our vacuum cleaner. Boats are named after rivers we've been on. Don't know how the Lilliput got named in there. That was a private raft, perhaps. Most of the rafts are owned by the Explorer Post that have river names on them. Forest Service checks with us to make sure our permit is proper. See Doug Buckham and Forrest Strong. Forest Service personnel. The spots on the river are rations, so parties don't pile in on top of each other. Salmon is a clean river, big water. We just wish it was closer to New Mexico. Our final briefing, the sermon on the beach. A little bit of a pep talk from one of our staff, and finally launch. Kayaks, canoes, tandem rowed rafts, all sorts of propulsion. The slalom canoe is fully decked, has a skirt around each paddle. Keep water from entering on its bill. Where the boats are deliberately turned over, and the explorers get up on the bottom of the fully loaded boat and see if they can set it back right side up. It's getting top of the raft when it's upside down. Get the bridle out and pull it back unsuccessfully that time. Back over. Nope, unsuccessful again. Well, let's see how this lightweight raft works it out. Recovered in an organized manner is very important. Now, pull the raft up, back, right side up, and get back in again. Self-recovery is a lot more practical than waiting for your buddy boat to come help you out. The big raft is one of the hardest ones to get turned back over. This trip was done the 12th of July, 1974. Even the canoe worked out. It's recovery. A lot tougher. Good training, good preparation. There, they got it back up. In smooth water, really pays off if they have to do it in the middle of a rapid. This raft is pretty straightforward once you find the right route. Typically we stop on the right side, look the rapid over, and and pick the longest smooth tongue we can to get through the rapid. Tandem rowing, the larger rafts, puts a little more horsepower for the weight of the raft, and everybody gets into the act. Here in the smaller rafts, only one oarsman. The other guy in the bow, all he can do is point ahead, and hopefully to get on the oars as well later on. Many places in little side streams, there's sparkle right into it. Very clear, good drinking water. Typically we fill our water cans in canteens. That was cold coming in from the side creek. Walking ahead to look the rapid over lets the cameraman get downstream in a favorable position. Rafts go through. Oh, somebody's over. Let's see how well that practice will pay off. Getting up in the bottom, moving water, that's rather difficult. And see if they can pull it back right side up. That's part of the sport of the trip. Like they're organized. First try there. Probably successful later on. Comes Paul Allison and the Lilliput. That's a personal raft. Finally, the canoe. Well, that's a real challenge. It's so fast they work as a team without even talking to each other. You instinctively know which to do. You paddle on your assigned side most of the time. Sometimes have to shift over. Single kayaker, each stroke is on an opposite side. Beautiful campsites, moss on the trees, right down to the edge of the water. The hills around the Salmon are fairly arid, close to the river. It's more humid, beautiful trees, beautiful rapids. This time the camera was able to climb up the bank and get a little bit higher, look down on the river. Normally the camera is right at water's level. Quite a different view from overhead. Those big rocks look like they're moving almost. Zoom in close to them. Surf back upstream a little bit. Now he's going to make it through. Comes another wave. Right through it. Didn't get too close to the rock. And the canoe paddling strongly. Big Mallard is the name of this rapid, which that raft is named after. Kind of an easy left turn with a terrible hole on the left side. That is the river's left, looking downstream. Camera's right in behind that hole, watching post 20 row and paddle downstream. Lightweight rafts are the favorite of the explorers to row. More maneuverable, and they turn over easily. Whoop, brace there. He's over. Still over. And got it back right side up. That's real do, an Eskimo roll. When you're upside down, breathe. A good fishing stream. That's a river, not a stream. Well, I understand in June the fish aren't biting as well as they are other times of year. And we've uncovered the sourdough, which Dr. Doug has made, and that has been fermenting overnight for sourdough pancakes. It's put down and buried in the warm ashes last night. Finally breaks an egg into it. This is the lightest, best batter. Doug Palcom takes great pride in making sourdough pancakes. Everybody can hardly wait for that. The starter in Los Alamos is brought all the way with the yeast growing. It makes good ones. Boy, look how light they are. That one has wings on it. John Cross. Everybody digs into it, staff and explorers alike. Paul Allison, I'm going to have some more syrup in mine. And on downstream. Since I filmed from each side of the river to the rapid, it looks like we're going upstream sometimes. It's always downriver. Carrying a kayak through for some reason. Maybe the kayaker is tired or just bored. The skilled oarsman takes the heaviest rapids, and then he trains his younger explorer to take the other rapids. That's the way everybody gets to row. Smooth river beach, pastoral scene. Chittim is a harder rapid. It's a hard right turn with some strong throws from the right bank, pushing you over to the left side where you don't want to be. We respect this one a great deal. There's the right turn coming up, and they make it. Those guys lost control. They're going to get back going. Spun them crown. Well, we'll make the best of it. Come on, fellas, start ferrying toward the camera. Get away from that side. That's too close. Ah, good control. No difference. Super whitewater Salmon River, 1974. river is well off its crest. There's a safety raft in the foreground. She'll be able to row out and pick up one if they have troubles. There, tandem rowing, really getting away from that left side. Oh my, look, oarsman's out. The raft is going on without him. You don't tuck your feet in sometime, you have a hard time getting back in. There he's caught up with the raft. After the camera bounces, he's back in. Here comes the canoe. John Cross, John Martin up there in the front, getting all the speed they can, leaping out of the water. This is in preparation to their Grand Canyon run, which they intend to do another year. And finally the assault craft, the big one, whoop, dumped them out. 2 out of 3. Remaining one's going to get back to the oars, see if he can get back to the swimmers. It's really a big heave when you're thrown out. See, an oar came out of an oar socket there. Still working at it, another to get back in. Gee, that was an exciting rapid. Bit of rest. Looks like we had a thunderstorm last night. A number of people are dragging out their sleeping bags. This time of year, the rivers are usually pretty dry. Many of us don't even bother with tents, because you can always dry them out the next day. Ruby Rapids getting down by the hills and a road alongside. See, a thunderstorm put a little mud in the river. It's reddened up. Some side stream above us kicked in. The flash flood. Ruby Rapids with a red river. Quite different from the clear stream we had the previous day. There's always the positioning at the head of a rapid to get just to the right place to run through easily, to really show your mettle, get out there a little further toward the waves. It's a judgment call. Here comes Martin and Cross again. Slow motion. Oh boy. Clear out of the river. Quite a ride in the canoe. Yep. The rafts get more staggered by that white water than the canoe, which cuts right through it. The big frontal area of the raft presents a opportunity. Well, here comes a commercial dory, happens to go through the river at the same time. Getting down towards Riggins, we're not there yet, but there's some good rapids right alongside the road. Let's the cameraman run ahead, get in position. Bingo, that rapid nearly caught it. It's completely stopped going forward. Boy, that's a hard hit. Looking from overhead on a bridge, we're going to look right down. See how they make out from a completely different angle. One of the few bridges across the Salmon River. Getting more arid now. We're getting down more of a rain shadow. Not many trees along the river. Well, John Cross puts his paddle in. And when it's that deep, look well ahead where the river cuts more of a gorge. Bounces off the left cliff. And if there's not enough excitement on the river, we'll show our mettle by diving or jumping in. All explorers must be good swimmers. Not be afraid of the water. Swim or boat. Now that's the easy way to get back up for another jump. These sandy beaches are the best to sleep on. The canoe takes a spectacular route. Got a hand that's injured, and we tried to keep it dry in a plastic bag. Few frogs here. Uh-oh, this makes it an X-rated movie. Who would have thought the explorers would ever see this on a river trip? But the chain of eggs, or the little tadpoles, being fertilized en route. We're now past the town of Riggins, where we got some new supplies. Kayak playing around there. We went down backwards looking for a good wave in which to surf and go upstream on the front edge, which is quite a sport. We'll see some of that later on. Big water on the Salmon River. You can see the high water mark just below the brush sometimes in the background. And in mid-June, it's a more moderate river. More jumping, as well as fishing. Finally, we meet the confluence with the Snake River. Part of this is through the Nez Perce Indian Reservation, a little town called Whitewater, which is upstream from this point. Not so many trees in this more arid section. Good sandy beaches, though. Finally, we have our takeout near Lewiston, Idaho. Rather rocky shingle. Or beach might be called. Take off the rowing frames, dry our rafts, prepare for the long drive home. bus and truck waiting for us. All our trips stenciled on the side. Kind of a brag sheet. We're quite proud of that. As we finish the 1974 Salmon River, ending up on the Snake. A long drive, but well worth it. In 1975, the National Office of the Boy Scouts of America was invited to have a photographer-writer join our Grand Canyon raft trip. Michael Pruitt accepted this challenging professional assignment, joining Post 20 at Lee's Ferry, the start of our Colorado River trip. You've already seen him in action, going backwards through Hance Rapid, photographing Ken Jennings working at the oars. His article, The Ultimate Trip, was featured in the April 1976 issue of Exploring magazine, with a front cover photograph of explorer John Dummer waking up in the Grand Canyon. This magazine was mailed to all registered Explorer Scouts in the United States. Explorer Post 20 Los Alamos felt this national recognition was quite an honor for their whitewater post in arid New Mexico. My Kiwanis Club sponsored Explorer Post 20, Boy Scouts of America, for young men, which I led for over 20 years, located in Los Alamos, New Mexico. We specialized in river running, in small road rafts, using our own river guides and our unit leadership, food packing in waterproof bags, and a 30-passenger bus. This bus was afforded by utilizing the profits when operating a lunch bar at the local ski area in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Many members of the local Kiwanis Club volunteered to help this weekend operation, where the explorers operated with only one paid employee, which kept the costs down. Practice rowing sessions took place on the nearby Rio Grande during spring high water. Local overnight trips were required for all prior to the big once-a-year trip on western rivers. All were tested for swimming skills. Much driving is necessary from this arid and southwest part of the USA to reach adequate rivers. Annual trips included the Salmon, Snake, Yampan Green, Grand Canyon, and Cataract Canyon of the Colorado. Filming was done with a hand-wound 16mm Bolex camera on Kodachrome. Voice and music was added later. Final work now on a disc. The purpose of these films was recruiting young men, explorers, to BSA and memories for parents and scouts. You know, it worked.